en el día de hoy ante Costa Rica le pone un tono realmente dramático a la posibilidad de los 3 equipos que van a estar representando a Centroamérica en las finales del fútbol de Francia 98. Aquí están las imágenes de un partido jugado con un enorme fervor, una verdadera fiesta para toda la isla jamaiquina, pero básicamente también Costa Rica buscando su gran posibilidad. Aquí estaba el remate de Mauricio Solís que tapa el arquero de Jamaica. De cualquier forma, Costa Rica va a buscar el gol y sin embargo en un contragolpe de Jamaica llega a esta situación. El remate de Burton pega en Marín y convierte para Jamaica el gol que iba a ser el de la victoria, el definitivo. Insistió luego Costa Rica, pero sin suerte. Jamaica ganó por 1-0.
La señal desde el Robert F. Kennedy. Vamos con las alineaciones. Ahí está el público, una gran bandera de los Estados Unidos.
Un Casey Keller de mentiras en la bandera.
Casey Keller, arquero del Leicester City del fútbol inglés.
Convierta otro. Que este gol no haga la diferencia ni marque el resultado. Porque para mí no es un gol que tiene la legitimidad. Es un gol con la complicidad de un árbitro que se equivoca, quizás se equivoca de buena fe. Eso siempre hay que entenderlo. Se puede haber equivocado de buena fe al marcar un penal.
Se equivocó, ahora está el empate, gol. ¡Gol! Burton, ¡gol! ¡Gol de Jamaica! Y si hay un Dios que imparte justicia, apareció en el Robert F. Kennedy y le devolvió la ilusión a Jamaica. Se equivocó el Gus y muy bien facturó Burton. Empató Jamaica y la emoción al máximo. 1 Estados Unidos, 1 Jamaica. Dion Burton, el autor del empate.
Y el hombre que se robó el balón se llama Paul Hall. Se equivocó en el manejo de la pelota, en aprovechar a este hombre que se llama Jeff Egus. Se le anticiparon y está molestísimo Steve Sampson, porque los resultados hay que saberlos manejar.
Absolutely electric atmosphere at RFK Stadium. A sellout, a lot of Jamaican fans, but more American fans, with a chance for the USA tonight to take a major step and really have the coastline of France clearly in sight. Tonight's lineups are brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
Well, in goal, Casey Keller, who is on fire in the Premiership in England, having a great season for Leicester City in front of the back 3 that did so well against Costa Rica up in Portland, Oregon. Good to see Casey in the nets for the USA. And then the midfield and the forwards, and of course John Harkes is back, having had to sit out the Costa Rican match because of accumulated yellow cards. He is the captain, and this is his home team's field. DC United play here. He is coming home, and he wants to have a big game tonight.
And for Jamaica tonight.
Well, Warren Barrett, the goalkeeper, had a couple of nightmare games away, giving up 9 goals, but all of a sudden he's put together 3 shutouts, and he has become a national hero now as part of this great resuscitation of the Jamaican soccer team. And up front, of course, the great story here. Dion Burton, only 20 years old, playing for Derby County in England, but has come back and has scored back-to-back goals to give this team 2 1-0 victories to get them into this spot of being tied for first place in CONCACAF.
6 teams in this group. It's essentially now a 4-team race. Mexico play El Salvador on Sunday. Jamaica has 11 points, but as you see, they played 7 matches. The USA has the match in hand, 9 points. A win is 3 points. A win would vault the U.S. over Mexico, albeit perhaps temporarily. But the top 3 nations from this group will go to France already. 14 of the 32 teams have been determined for France in 1998. Steve Sampson will meet him at halftime intimately at home, at his home in California. And his attack-minded philosophy stored his decision up front and forward. René Simoes, the Brazilian-born head coach of the Jamaican side, the technical director, an evangelical Christian who has said that God has a plan for Jamaica, and part of that plan is getting Jamaica to World Cup 98. Our officiating crew is from the nation of Chile. Mario Sanchez is our referee, and he is assisted by Jorge Diaz and Javier Campos, the 4th official, also from Chile, Luis Peña, tonight in Washington, D.C. It is a gorgeous evening. The pitch is perfect. This is the home of DC United. You could not ask for better conditions. Some of the crowd still filing in because of the traffic congestion in this area. It's a busy weekend in Washington, D.C. The U.S. is in white, Jamaica in yellow. U.S. Soccer and ESPN would like to thank MasterCard and all the other U.S. soccer sponsors for allowing tonight's game action to be brought to you commercial-free. Ernie Stewart, who's had a beautiful season at NAC Breda, playing it forward. Eric Winalda, who took himself out of the Costa Rica lineup last month, 20 minutes before kickoff. Senor Sanchez checking his watch, and we are set to go. The U.S. with that three-back alignment. We will kick it off one more time, and they'll do it once more.
A lot of nervousness out there tonight. Of course, the Jamaican team under a lot of pressure to come up with a big win away from home.
Claudio Reyna immediately on the ball. He's got Ramos to his right. Heavy pressure and fouled by Paul Hall. Reyna played a brilliant match against Costa Rica, left after the 60th minute with an injury. Balboa to Reyna. Pressure from behind from Dion Burton, and another foul against Jamaica. 2 quick fouls in the first 20 seconds.
You know, Reyna's getting caught from behind here. You got to wonder if he's not getting calls from his teammates or not hearing them because of the noise. But he's been trapped twice from the back.
It is extremely loud. I wonder if the players will actually hear the whistle. Also in critical situations. Reyna with a long ball. Harks touches. Ramos on the ball. Ramos lays it inside. Looking for Kobe Jones, who got the start tonight. Whitmore's on it, number 11 for Jamaica. Very dangerous player. Dion Burton dummies it up the left wing to Gardner on the overlap. Ricardo Gardner, number 24, cuts inside with a left-footed lead onside. But Casey Keller has it. Keller, who has been sparkling for Leicester City in the Premiership. They are the story in England this year. Keller, one of the major reasons why. 21 Durant Brown, the sweeper for Jamaica. Whitmore again on that ball, squares it off to number 5, Ian Gooderson. Gardner cuts it inside. Whitmore. Number 4, the right back, Linval Dixon, with a right foot. Jones is there. And Jamaica will take the throw-in.
You saw Jones dropping back there defensively. He's one of the wide players on the right side here. He's got to help out a lot on defense today. And John Harks on the other side, wide left, will also be having to drop back a little bit.
24-year-old Ian Gooderson. Pressured by Winalda, and it paid off as Ramos had a piece of that ball initially. Stopped by Thomas Dooley, one of the three backs for the U.S. Balboa up to Reyna. Claudio Reyna. Ramos, who had that goal against Costa Rica, speeding through the midfield, still on the ball. Ramos, far post, loose. Jones challenging. Whitmore got ahead to it. Jones challenges again, and now Eddie Pope will settle this ball. Dooley with a left foot. Dion Burton comes back to win that ball. And now Dixon to Burton. Jamaica had been given up for dead after the first 4 matches of qualifying. And the injection of the 4 British players, they call them the Fab Four, the Beatles. 3 of them are starting tonight.
Well, the U.S. and Jamaica both starting off on a very high-paced style, attack-minded, looking for the all-important first goal. There goes Balboa. We didn't expect to see much of that.
And Burton came back to win that ball. Harks got a touch with some pressure. There's Peter Cargill under pressure and starts out of his end. Burton with the ball. Dooley gets a piece of it to keep it away from Paul Hall, number 22, and puts it up the wing. Dixon still on the ball. Gets past Sorbo, or does he, with the shot that Keller has all the way.
Well, Tab Ramos got to get some more of those runs in. We saw an enterprising run from him there. And Winalda stripped by the ball. That's an interesting first challenge that Winalda has faced.
Balboa, lots of room, and he'll take advantage of it. Scores of yards of room there. Harks with a touch. Looking for Ramos and Stewart. Gardner got ahead to it. Now Jamaica on the counterattack. They have come out in fifth gear, these two teams. Long ball looking for Burton. And Dooley cuts it away. Ramos came back, but Burton won it. Fitzroy Simpson, number 6, got a touch. Burton, who has tremendous skills, number 18. Watch him tonight. Cargill, number 7. And Goodison, the left back, number 5. To the sweeper, Durant Brown, who did not play in the last Jamaica game because of a yellow card suspension. 3 consecutive 1-0 victories in qualifying for this Jamaica team. And that has resuscitated them with those 9 points and putting them at the top of this group. Peter Cargill now as the pace wanes just a bit.
Tremendous fight in midfield in this match tonight. The U.S. knows it cannot allow some of these good, quick players in midfield to exploit them. Players like Simpson in particular and Whitmore.
Who's on the ball?
Yeah, number 11.
He takes a challenge. As Linville Dixon moved up. Number 4, and Jamaica in possession in the 6th minute at a raucous RFK Stadium in Washington.
Well, there you see one of the problems for Jamaica, Bob. They tend to take some very risky passes and some poor choices, some sort of undisciplined passes. Not as much as they used to, but it still can happen.
Paul Hall took that ball on the touch from Ramos against Eddie Pope, who gets a foot in and another touch and puts it out. Throw in Jamaica.
That's going to be a good matchup. Paul Hall against Eddie Pope. We just saw the first version of it there.
Simpson for Burton. Off his chest. Dion Burton, back heel. He loves that back heel move. Whitmore on the ball. Down the gut. Whitmore into the box and run off the ball. That's the fear of the U.S. team. Whitmore, when he faces the goal, can be very dangerous.
Well, you see Dooley there under a little bit of pressure because Sorber and Reyna were not able to take care of Whitmore, and that's their job. They've got to close him down.
So the pace has been frenetic at the beginning. At stake, 3 points. John Harks, who did not play against Costa Rica because of the yellow card suspension in CONCACAF qualifying. The cards carry over. They have a long life. Mike Sorber now to Ramos. Reyna to Eddie Pope, who made several runs against Costa Rica. Moves up a little bit light here. Ernie Stewart has Kobe Jones wide right. Sorber.
Well, Ernie Stewart needs to get the ball a little bit more with his face to goal instead of with his back to goal. That's not his strength. Even though he is a front runner, he wants to be running onto goal.
Ramos trying to get it to Jones, comes back to collect that ball. Far post looking for Ronaldo and put out.
Well, a lucky break for the U.S. initially.
Corner kick.
Could not capitalize on it, but here's how it bounces back. Look, it's a great chance for Jones. Now, he looks far post, which is a great idea. There's an open man over there with Oliver that cannot quite get it over the top, and it's bombed away by the Jamaican defense.
Ramos on the corner. Dooley moves up. Hope tried to make something out of that at the near post. Eddie Pope, what a future this young man has. There's been interest from Feyenoord in the Netherlands in this young defender.
Well, the near post he feels he can make a penetrating run into, but there were 2 players there in addition to the man tracking him down. But that is the kind of position that Alexi Lalas has taken up from time to time, that near post in a more static style. Pope likes to run to that near post and try to simply out-hustle his marker.
You mentioned Lawless. He's not starting again this evening. Jeff Hagus, who's been a fixture in the U.S. lineup, not starting. Basically, it came down to Kobe Jones and John Harks needing a place in the lineup. Reyna now on that ball in the midfield. Fending off Fitzroy Simpson. But it comes back now to Dixon. Jones playing so very well for the LA Galaxy. Harks back from the yellow card, so a lot of questions who would play on this U.S. team. Basically, an embarrassment of wealth for Steve Sampson, trying to put the right formula together, concoct the right starting 11 for tonight. Simpson long left foot looking for Burton. He's with Pope. Paul trying to get the foot down, and a foul against the U.S. just outside the box against Balboa.
Well, that all came from Simpson dropping very deep and hitting a long ball forward that fell down in the penalty area. Dooley couldn't get it away. Let's see if this is a high foot here. Balboa came in with the side of the foot. I don't think it was studs up. It was more like a side tackle, but here's a great chance here for Jamaica in the early going. Only 10 minutes into the game. The Wall's got to do its job on the left.
Fitzroy Simpson near the ball. So is Stephen Malcolm, number 2. Wall will take the just at the penalty spot, so it move it back even further now, will the referee. Let's see, he'll take it. Malcolm or Simpson? Malcolm, number 2. Simpson. Wow. Nice set piece.
Tremendous low shot from Simpson. This is look where Casey Keller is placed. He cheat over that far because of the wall, but he's cheating a bit to his right, and it almost cost him. He was a little nervous about the wall, I think, or maybe thinking that the first shooter was going to chip it over. But Simpson did anything but chip. He just blasted it. And Casey Keller got a little bit lucky there for not being victimized by cheating a little bit to his right when the open space was to his left.
Foul against Jamaica on that challenge. The U.S. on the restart. They push up quickly. Well, Reina looking to put it into play. Dooley pushes up now. So does Balboa. Polk drops back along with Sorber. And Reina to take this free kick just over the halfway line. Reina long ball right on to Warren Barrett.
Now this is where the U.S. has got to put some pressure on right here. They got to stop him coming out because this is where Jamaica tends to make mistakes. Offside.
Before the match, and if you remember at Portland, he artificially had the field narrowed because he had so much respect for the Costa Rican speed. This game, unlike that, he's got the full 74 yards wide of RFK Stadium, and what it has created is a very wide open game, which you don't necessarily want to get into with Jamaica's great speed. I think the U.S. was relying on possession to use that extra width, and they've not established that possession.
Ty Keogh reporting from the field today for us. 74 wide, 110 long this pitch, and you just saw that sequence when Ty was reporting the dangerous speed of Dion Burton, number 18. This Jamaica team is flying, and there's Whitmore with lots of time. No one's shutting him down. Dooley comes over now. So does Reina.
Whitmore and Simpson are doing the midfield damage. That's offside again. But there's very definite, I won't say disarray, but there's certainly some breakdown in the center of defense for the midfield. And you can see John Harkes coming in and giving a piece of his mind to some of the players inside him. John Harkes likes to play center midfield. He's playing left side of midfield this time. But Reina and Sorber are not being able to keep track of Whitmore.
Stewart challenging Brown for that ball. Brown circles away, gets past Reina. But it'll be U.S. ball. Now the United States has this game, then a trip to Mexico, then a trip to Canada, then they close with a home match against El Salvador. John Harkes, this is his home pitch for D.C. United. They begin the playoffs Sunday night against the New England Revolution. Throw in now for Jamaica.
Jamaican team is showing us, why they've done so well. The USA, in fact, is the only team to have taken a point from Jamaica in matches played down there. Everybody else who's gone down there has lost.
That was the opener for the U.S., a scoreless draw in qualifying back in March. Mike Burns saved the ball off the back line. Otherwise, Jamaica might have won that game. But this Jamaican team has been transformed since then. Paul Hall offside. As Steve Malcolm made his run. And gets back to his defensive position now.
Well, one of the things the U.S. has got to do is to try to get a bit more possession. As Ty was saying, they had counted on that. It hasn't happened. They haven't gotten the possession that they want, and in addition to that, they've not been successful in stopping some of the attacking play of Jamaica through the good midfield players. They've got to try to make those defenders cough up the ball more.
Reina circles away from Hall. Balboa, I tell you, the way Burton has been front-running all night, one of those square passes could turn into disaster.
That's right. Those are going to be timed exactly right. That one looked dangerous, and there's a loose one from Pope.
Mike Sorber, again, Burton checking back for the ball. This young man, number 18 in yellow, not yet 21 years of age, just transferred from £1 million in the English Premiership from Portsmouth to Derby County. He'll be playing Casey Keller Monday Night Football on ESPN2 when Leicester plays Derby Monday night. Right now they're playing for their countries. Ramos, Sorber, and Dooley in the United States out of sync offensively.
Well, they've got 11 players to go against. Everybody from Jamaica has dropped back now. That'll just be allowed to glide through. They're getting 11 players behind the ball as soon as the U.S. gets possession down in the Jamaican half.
Burton's on the ball with a lead looking for Hall, who's got a world of speed, and Keller out of his area. They just watch it over the end line. The United States has never lost to Jamaica. In fact, Jamaica's not scored in the last 5 matchups. But this Jamaica team is not the Jamaica that the United States has played.
Absolutely, Bob. This is a totally transformed team with inspired coaching, and they've gone on they got the genealogical tables out, and they found some players in England of Jamaican background who qualify, and they brought them in, and they have made a great difference to this team.
Peter Cargill, number 7. Steve Malcolm, number 2. Fitzroy Simpson, number 6. Dixon under some pressure. Now the U.S. trying to win that ball, and Reina does. Tomorrow morning, Worldwide Soccer comes your way. Highlights of tonight's game. A look back at the MLS season just completed. Join your host, Rob Stone, 10 Eastern on ESPN2. Tremendous program. Check it out, Worldwide Soccer. That time of the year, World Cup qualifying coming down to the final stages. The MLS Championship playoffs about to begin.
Now this player, Ian Goodison, has had some trouble distributing, so he wisely gives it back to Durant Brown, the experienced sweeper, and now they work out. But they got to worry about these midfield players slipping up. Fitzroy Simpson and the number 6 player in particular.
Now Winolda comes over to apply a little bit of pressure to number 5, Ian Goodison. Whitmore on the ball. There's Goodison now with some space against Kobe Jones. Balboa cleans it out of trouble, looking for Stewart. Ernie Stewart, controlled by Cargill.
Not a good attempt to trap there by Ernie. A difficult ball, but he had a bit more space around him to take it down off his chest, perhaps. He's playing in this unfamiliar position for him for the United States, not unfamiliar for him with MAC Breda, because he does play in the center, although a bit withdrawn in the center behind 2 front runners.
Jamaica would be thrilled with a point tonight. Oh, Stewart tries to dispossess and stick his foot in there and almost wins the ball and perseveres and commits the foul against Gareth Brown. Immediate restart by Brown, looking for Paul Hall against Balboa, who got the head down. Reina lifts it high. Stewart, good ball. Captain John Hartz waits for support. Ramos is there. Tried up the middle to Stewart. Dooley comes through well to win that ball. Back on it now, gets it back from Hart. Thomas Dooley makes his run. Tackled away nicely by Dixon. Now Whitmore back, tackled back and turned by Dooley in the U.S. with Balboa's ball. It'll be a throw-in for Jamaica. Ty Keogh.
Steve Sampson trying to fine-tune his attack, giving some very specific instructions to his team. He's asking Ernie Stewart to push up further and be right up alongside of Eric Winolda. And that worked almost a moment ago as Ernie Stewart momentarily stole the ball before the foul was called against him. But he's also giving instructions to Kobe Jones out wide here to take on his man and get behind him, because the attack with Jamaica bringing so many players back has become so predictable that they do need that one-on-one ability to get behind somebody, and Kobe Jones is the man to do it.
Well, worlds of speed We said the 6-game winning streak for the LA Galaxy. Jones at the center of that as they moved into second place in the MLS West.
Well, the USA thought they could get around the back of the flanks defense of Jamaica, but as Ty says, you've got to do it either by crisp early passing and get over the top and run around them, or else take them on one-on-one, and there's been no one-on-one, certainly, by John Harkes, for that matter, nor by Kobe.
Very patient Jamaica now. As the pace is slowed down, Jamaica co-leaders of this group with Mexico. They've played 2 more matches than Mexico. Ricardo Gardner brings it down, cuts it inside for the shot on Keller, with Dion Burton right in front for the rebound that never came.
Well, this guy is 19 years old. Bibby Gardner, they call him, because he's sort of the baby. But he's got all kinds of confidence in his ability to hit volleys, as you saw him take that chance. Look at this little flick away now, not even looking for goal. He knows where it is. And that Houghton skipped through easily there for Keller to pick up. Another set piece for the U.S. here, but again, 10 players back for Jamaica.
Ramos near the ball. Balboa pushes up down the left side. Dooley is in. They looked at Balboa left side. Looking inside for Winalda, but controlled by the Jamaicans, and Whitmore is on it now on the counterattack for the Reggae Boys, as they're known. This is perhaps the greatest athletic moment this run of games Jamaica has ever known. They play cricket well. They've had no soccer success. They're looking to go to France. Reina got a foot in from behind. We are live from RFK Stadium, World Cup qualifying on ESPN. Along with Ty Keogh and Seamus Fallon, I'm Bob Lee. Corner kick Jamaica. 3 points at stake, 3 points that could take the U.S. to the top of their qualifying group.
And this is where they got to watch out for Dion Burton, who sees a lot of high balls when he's playing for Derby County, and he's good in the air.
Simpson to corner, Keller had it all the way.
But Keller sees those balls too, all the time in the Premiership, and he is excellent at that. Unfortunately, he lets it go downfield and gives it right back to Jamaica. And that's not what the U.S. needs at this point. They need that good possession. See if Ronaldo can put some pressure on here and win the ball back. Front runners have got to do a lot of work defensively, Ernie Stewart and Eric Ronaldo, and they've got to do it as a team. Can't just have one person running, but 2 of them got to go together.
You see some of that pressure right there, but Jamaica breaks out.
Yeah, Jamaica
Malcolm
broke out because Ronaldo did not track down the man who passed the ball by him.
Goodison now comes inside. Fitzroy Simpson plays with Portsmouth in the English First Division to his teammate. Tried to get to Paul Hall, his professional teammate. Dooley broke it up. Ramos, nice touch. A subtle one. Here comes Burton on Jones, but a long lead for Ernie Stewart. Brings the ball down. There's Winalda with him. He's got Ramos to the box. Winalda. For Stewart. Oh, he whiffs. Jones comes back. But Simpson is on it, and so is Jamaica.
Sorber was right on Simpson's back there. Prevented him from turning and coming.
Paul Hall out racing Balboa, who touches it out for the throw-in.
Well, that's a matchup that they rather like over there. Paul Hall on Balboa, because here's the ball cut back. A good cutback, but he loses his footing and into Ernie, and he whiffs on it. And that's simply unthinkable for him, given his quality as a finisher. But Steve Stamson talked about it today. They need to have precision in front of goal, and so far that's eluded them.
A lot of emotion in the air, in the stands, on the pitch.
Now, Jamaica has good, skillful players, but you notice they're knocking a lot of balls forward, and I think they're just hoping for, some knockdowns, not in the classic British sense, but just because they're so quick around the box that maybe they can seize them if they run loose for them.
Eddie Pope got a touch for the first time in a while, but nothing comes of that attack. And again, it's Whitmore through midfield. Lead down the left side for Ricardo Gardner. He's got Whitmore and Hall coming down the middle, looking in front. Oh, just off stride for Theodore Whitmore. This is a dangerous Jamaican team.
Well, this is a team that plays beautifully as a unit, instead of just a string of individuals, which often was their weak point. This is a nice glided ball through. And unfortunately for Whittemore, he was just out of stride when that ball came through. But very definitely, Jamaica looking more dangerous at this point, and the U.S. need to get a lot more play in the box. It's not just been down in the box enough.
When all the challenging, so's Kobe, or rather Ramos. You see the U.S. white shirts, but Jamaica in possession. 1 point would suit them fine tonight. We see Ronaldo with that push. We've got hockey action tonight, live from Tokyo as the National Hockey League goes to Asia for the first time. The Mighty Ducks and the Canucks. Mark Messier makes his debut for the Canucks. Teemu Selanne for Anaheim. That's tonight at 11 Eastern on ESPN. Quite a day here. The baseball playoffs with the Braves in action. World Cup qualifying. And hockey from Tokyo tonight. Well, Stewart watching, but Jamaica basically at this point taking their time in possession, bleeding the clock in the 26th minute. The conventional U.S. thinking long ball as Balboa puts it down. Oh, right on to Hall now coming through. Pope gets a foot to it. Burton in the box, so dangerous. Burton looks to turn. Forced wide by Balboa.
Well, Eric Ronaldo is having a lot of problems with the defensive part of his game. He's just simply not 100%, as we all know, and he's not getting the offensive chance. He's going to have to work a lot. He's going to have to work very, very hard defensively. I don't know if he can do it for 90 minutes.
Simpson on the corner kick. They look for Burton in the box. Loose at the 6. Burton tried to tee it up. It's still loose. Burton still on the ball. Turns around like a pinball, and Kobe bicycles out of trouble. Agonizing sequence. Immediate throw-in. Ricardo Gardner to the top of the box. Brought down by Simpson. Lines up the shot. Blocked by Balboa. Jamaica is in control of this match. The U.S. is back on its heels right now. See the challenge with Ramos. And now Kobe Jones wins that ball. With a long ball looking for Ronaldo, plucked out of the air. Whitmore cuts it wide. Here comes Dixon, number 4. Whitmore makes his run and gets the ball. He's onside clearly. Against Balboa. With Hall in the box along with Burton. Dooley puts it out.
Well, midfield just totally dominated by Jamaica right now. The U.S. really not playing well in midfield at all. Or being beaten for speed. My goodness, that wasn't a foul?
No.
It's not.
Simpson with the ball looking for Burton. Keller punches it away. The rebound is put wide. Six clean sheets in qualifying, 5 victories.
Well, this is dangerous man Simpson. That's an awfully good chip. And Keller quickly off the line, as he must do, because that ball had cleared Balboa. And this man, number 18, Dion Burton, is lining up as much as possible against Balboa, and he's got some advantages on Balboa in terms of speed. And the U.S. would rather see Pope matching up there, I think, if they could.
Now the U.S. in possession for the first time, and it seems a while. Stewart now with Ronaldo in the box. Stewart into a forest of yellow shirts, taken off the ball. Now foul replay on. Whitmore plays wide. Hartz wins the ball. Replay on. Johnny Hartz on the ball. Tight marking from Jamaica. Wide ball play to Eddie Pope now, but Pope able, did he sit? Yes, able to win it, but Jamaica back on it. Gardner looking for Paul Hall. Dooley couldn't touch it. There's Fitzroy Simpson tangling with Mike Sorber.
Yeah, good defense by Mike Sorber there. As once again, Tom Dooley had to come up. He's had to come up an awful lot in behind the defensive midfielders as Jamaica has been pouring through there. 2 very fast players up front, of course. Hall, number 22, is also fast, so maybe he's the guy that Pope has to take.
Simpson on the corner kick looking for post. Whitmore running on, couldn't get his head to it. Sent right back in, and Keller, 7 yards off his goal line. Quickly up to Ramos. Here comes the United States on the counterattack. Ramos. Michael Sorber of the Metro Stars, the defensive midfielder, duly pushing up now. Sorber stays back. Jamaica back in at Gardner now. Jamaica's played well. They played a good possession game.
Well, they have shut down the center path to goal, which is where we thought the U.S. might have some good chances through the middle with those two dynamic strikers. But the problem has been that they've not been able to serve those players because of the dominance by the Jamaica midfield.
Linval Dixon shaken up. In the 30th minute, Jeff Agus will warm up. Now, whether that means he's coming on, we can speculate what the change would be perhaps for Kobe Jones.
Yeah, I think the thought was that if Agus comes on, it'll be as a fourth defender, perhaps to play a 4-4-2, but they were only thinking of doing that if Jamaica came with 3 attackers. Jamaica's not coming with 3 attackers normally, but they're coming with 4 or 5 or 6 sometimes because of their speedy dominance in midfield. So he's got a choice here. Does he bring Agus as a fourth defender and then drop a midfielder? Perhaps Kobe, as you mentioned. But a lot of the problem up top is that Eric Winalda is not getting any chances on goal, and he's having to work very, very hard defensively, and I think that's just taking a lot out of him. And he's a bit inconsistent in it.
Well, we talked about Winalda. He played 90 minutes back in June. He had surgery on his groin in early July. Played 90 minutes only in San Jose's final match of the season. Also played an exhibition match with the Clash. You see that little tussle between Balboa and Dion Burton. Burton called for the foul. The United States, this is not the same level of play, quality of play we saw from them against Costa Rica as Pope pushes up. Kobe Jones on the ball. Now Mike Sorber. Harks lifts it wide left. There's Winalda against Peter Cargill. Warren Barrett's got it.
Well, Winalda showed us what he's capable of doing there with that quick spin and turn and run to the line. But the finishing cross just didn't have the quality it needed with 3 or 4 white shirts up there waiting.
20-year-old Dion Burton gets past Harks. Taken on by Balboa with a shot onto Keller. They nicknamed this young man Ronaldo. He's playing that way tonight.
Good move here by Waldo against Peter Cargill to the line. But I think there was a deflection also. That's what happened. Cargill
Stewart on the ball as we're back to live action now. Stewart waiting for some support. Kobe comes up to give it to him. He's got Reyna edge of the box. Touchdown by Winalda and cleared by Stephen Malcolm.
Very unlucky Winalda there, trying to do a nice little drop pass for John Harks.
Harks with the ball. Kobe's got some room on the right side. Ramos. The cross in front. Reyna turns just wide as Barrett got the touch.
Now that's what we want to see more of from Ramos. Doing a very good job supporting Kobe Jones in the first place, and then absolutely blasting by Simpson and picking out Reyna, who turns well indeed, was back to goal, picks the right corner, but a good save by Barrett.
Claudio Reyna on the corner kick. Dooley makes a run. Winalda and that missile nowhere close by Kobe Jones.
Well, this play by Ramos down the right side and Jones down the right side is impressive, but that's what they thought they would be able to do a lot more.
Tykeal.
Jeff Agus appears to be ready to come on, and it will be for Mike Sorber unless they've changed it. So the U.S. looks like they're a little worried about the speed and how wide open this game is. It's going to switch over to a 4-defender setup.
Well, that's an interesting turn of events. Sorber has been such an indispensable player in midfield, and that may mean, well, quite what, I don't know what it means. It maybe means that Hawks will come in and play in the center.
John Hawks just got himself a card in the 35th minute. He had just sat out a yellow card suspension. Jamaica on the ball. In the box, Fitzroy Simpson touches it. And Keller had it. Boy, this is a nightmare scenario unfolding for the United States national team right now. Not able to get any offensive flow going as you see Whitmore on the ball. Jamaica playing remarkably.
Well, Hawks, while he was arguing there, Simpson got through and almost scored when he was arguing with the referee. That was a perfectly good header, and the referee decided otherwise, but I didn't think Hawks committed a foul there. But
Dooley's long ball looking for Winalda. And he has called Winalda for the foul, so some unpopular decisions, and if you want to talk folks with a temper.
Winalda's playing with a yellow card. He's got to be careful here. He has already got one, and one in this game wouldn't hurt him, but it would mean he would miss the Mexico game, the next one the U.S. has.
Simpson now. The U.S. believing they can pressure these backs. That was the plan coming in.
But it's got to be as a team. You can't just have one front runner pressuring guys and then other Jamaican potential receivers being fairly wide open. There's Claudio Reyna. That's a yellow card for him. That's bad news for the U.S.
He will not play against Mexico.
He will not play against Mexico.
So Reyna gets a card in the 37th minute. And so
well, Reyna, I think, thought that this was coming his way, and the referee gave it the other way, so he shows his disapproval, and for dissent, gets a yellow card. I always feel that's one of the most ridiculous yellow cards, regardless of which team the player is on. A referee should simply go over to him, tell him to calm down. There comes Sorber out.
So instead of
giving a yellow that can be so costly in a series of games for something, just a momentary lapse of temper.
Paul Hall tried to cross it, deflected out. Corner kick now. So Jeff Agus on the back line. Sorber has come out. Cello's had his hands and feet full tonight. Simpson will take the corner kick. Burton is in the box. Goodison pushes up. Looking for Goodison, headed out by the U.S. Whitmore with a header, and lifted out by Kobe Jones. The United States, at this point, I think would be happy just to go into the locker room tied at halftime, foul against Ernie Stewart. Well, they don't like the calls, and they have learned rather quickly, the U.S. side, that to talk about it might earn them yellows. And a lot of players are sitting on one yellow card tonight, with Mexico looming on the horizon.
Tell you, look at where Jeff Agus is playing. This is astonishing. He's playing in the center of the United States. Now he's moved over to the left. That's a bit more like it. And Kobe Jones has moved from the right wing to the left wing, and Tab Ramos is playing on the extreme right side of midfield now. So a complete shakeup of the U.S. midfield, going left to right. Kobe Jones, John Harkes, Claudio Reyna, and Tab Ramos. That's the midfield foursome for them right now.
Jamaica has outplayed the United States clearly in this first half.
And of course, Jamaica would love to win, obviously, but if they get a point here, they're going to be very, very happy.
That'll be a goal kick. Jeff Agus, DC United. This is his home field, obviously, as well.
He's playing left back now. They're four-man backfield, so that Dooley and Balboa inside him are twin center backs, or a sweeper and a stopper. And then Eddie Pope is the right back. 4-4-2.
Bad clearance by Goodison, and that is an Achilles heel for this Jamaican defense. Sometimes they can be guilty of the nonchalant clear. Long punt by Barrett, the keeper. The challenge won by Burton in the air against Balboa. Tried the through ball to Hall. Pope challenging now. Eddie Pope, beautiful dispossession there. Now the U.S. on the attack. Ramos, he's got Hartz to the right. Johnny Hartz on the ball. Tried the cross. Throwing for the U.S.
Well, this is more like it. Tab Ramos making a good right run and supported by Hartz.
Far post, but Barrett's there. Looking for Winalda on the far post.
Yeah, and Winalda should put that one away for the memory bank of the second half, that the keeper dropped that ball easily. An easy cross and he fumbled it. He's got to give a bit more pressure.
Stewart now comes back for that ball. Marcelo Balboa down and in pain, holding that foot just above the ankle, it appears. He and Burton have been going at it hammer and tong all night long.
Well, they can ill afford to lose Marcelo Balboa. Well, he went in low to try to win the ball. Jamaican player came in high, missed the ball, and got him as he came down. It wasn't that high, but not much question that they're both going for the ball there. Only any intent to injure the other. So Burnsy and Lawless are warming up.
And that man may have another decision to make. He's already used one of his 3 substitutions, that to go to a 4-back defense to blunt this Jamaican nuclear-powered attack. And Marcelo Balboa, who did not play a single minute through the first round of qualification because he was playing himself back into shape, has regained his spot in the U.S. lineup.
Well, he will do everything he can to stay, but he's not going to hurt his team by trying to play on when he shouldn't be.
Now this is interesting. If they have to use their second substitution, the U.S., for Lawless or Burns, that leaves Steve Sampson one. Usually he uses his substitution for offensive purposes. That leaves him 1 card to play.
That's right.
Frecky or Joe Max Moore later in the game.
Yeah, or Roy
to get that adrenaline going.
That's right. And Roy Lassiter is that type of player too. So things have not gone well here for the U.S., but give a lot of credit to Jamaica for playing a spirited style. Here you go. See a lazy attempt to clear.
Paul Hall, Dion Burton tries to lob the keeper, but he's off the mark. Second minute. That's a dangerous player tonight. Marcelo Balboa is back on the pitch.
The Jamaican players will hustle the Americans as much as they can. Love to get a goal before the half.
Foul just at the top of the arc, and a free kick now, and an excellent opportunity for the United States.
Well, Eric Winalda loves these opportunities, as does Tab Ramos. So
they're discussing what the strategy shall be now.
They got to move back 10 yards. They're about 5 right now. They got to get back to the penalty spot. But Winalda going up for this one, and he's just clattered into it before he can get off the ground. And it was Peter Cargill who was their defensive man marker. Very experienced player, Cargill, 34 years old.
Well, they've decided. Ramos and Hartz had a conversation. Reyna is near the ball. So is Winalda. Winalda. Well over the top.
Wow, and I don't know if you noticed that Tab Ramos made a run wide to the right, and nobody came off the wall to mark him. And if they slipped the ball to him, he would have been alone, one-on-one on the keeper.
All the way back to Thomas Dooley. There'll be some injury time added on. The injury to Dixon, the injury to Balboa. The foul there. No, not whistle. As that challenge fair by Winalda, but Jamaica's still in control. Goodison. We play on? Yes, we play on. Ricardo Gardner against Pope. Balboa looked a little unsure of his footing there. Ramos comes through midfield on that ball and uses Eddie Pope. Claudio Reyna now with Hartz to his left. Ramos to his right. Tries the through ball, but picked off.
Better attacking by the U.S. and Kobe Jones had made a great open run on the far side too, using his speed.
Now Kobe on the ball. He's got Goose making him run. Now John Hart's looking for Jeff Vegas, his DC United teammate. Vegas still on the ball. Coming down the middle is Ronaldo. And broken up from behind by Simpson, coming back well.
Too bad for Jeff. Did all the good work making the run. But the quality of the cross just quite lacking in the end with two good strikers open.
Now Stewart. Pope makes a run up the right side. U.S. going, we say, with the four backs now. Parks touches it wide. Winalda on the right side. He's got Stewart in front of the goal. Winalda looking in front. Ramos comes back. Taikio.
Steve Sampson's instructions to Eric Winalda in front of the whole team was to not pace himself. And in fact, the only times the USA has looked dangerous is the 2 or 3 times that Winalda has had the ball at his feet. The other key for the USA that Sampson was talking about was to play quickly through midfield and get the ball to the feet of the front runners. They haven't done it enough.
Dooley challenging. Corner kick for the United States. We are in injury time now. Ramos will take it with his right foot. Eddie Pope pushes up. Cello is in the box.
Pope is always dangerous on his near post run. Dooley may swing around the back with Cello.
Barrett punches it.
Eddie Pope felt he should have gotten to that one. But good defense by the keeper.
Bad touch by Goose, and Jamaica back on it in injury time here in the first half of a scoreless match, a match that Jamaica has lived up to their clippings. Look out for that man Burton as Cello gets the head to it back to Keller. And Cello is very slow to get up. You have to wonder if you'll see him start the second half. He is laboring and laboring badly. Now Thomas Dooley, age 36. Trouble with his footing, still on the ball though. Ramos. Touched by Hartz. Bicycle attempt by Dooley from an awkward position.
Well, Dooley can afford to go forward now a little bit more because they're not playing with 3 backs anymore. They're playing with 4. So it's less risky when he leaves the backfield and goes up.
In the second minute of time added on here in the first half. Near handball. It wasn't whistled. No.
Well, referee quickly looked over to the assistant referee. And he just kept the flag down, didn't say anything.
Ramos on that ball. Comes inside. Hartz makes a run. A ball for Stewart. This is Ernie Stewart. Looking far post. Ronaldo couldn't get to it. Headed out by the defense. Corner kick now.
Good play again, but all coming from Tad Ramos. Who's fighting hard in midfield. They need to get a corner quickly in here as time's running out.
Winalda on the corner. Put out by Dixon. Winalda back on it. Eric Winalda with the ball. Cello. Oh, just wide.
Well, for a guy who's injured and limping, he's fighting real hard to get his team an a last-minute lead before the half. Again, good play by Winalda. Good fake. Interesting cross. And a very good jump.
Halftime of a game that has not lacked for action. He is in some discomfort walking off. Steve Sampson will have to decide whether to make any lineup changes. Jamaica has played tremendous soccer. The United States and Jamaica are scoreless. We'll visit with Steve Sampson.
I talked to Steve Sampson at halftime. He's pleased enough now with the defensive adjustment, with the 4-back setup. Now he wants the team to get into attack, get the ball out on the flanks, and then switch the point of attack. He's also happy with Winalda and thinks Winalda could go.
Well, as you said, in a team meeting yesterday, in front of the team, Winalda was told by Steve Sampson, do not pace yourself, go full out. Balboa remains in for the U.S., so the U.S. has 2 substitutions yet to make. All the advantages for the U.S. A healthy team, a deep team, a home crowd, a chance to jump to the top of the group. All of that is for naught if they can't win this game.
That's right. And Jamaica has shown a very impressive style of play, except for balls like that. Occasionally they lapse back to the old Jamaica, which is the aimless boot out of the back or the risky passes in trouble. But most of the time they've been very intelligent in their passing and very disciplined. It's an impressive performance.
Kobe Jones quickly on the throw, and he's got Hartz down the left side. Stuart Winalda in the middle. Winalda shows for the ball, but right to Stephen Malcolm. Jones back on it. Kobe Jones inside looking for Winalda. Cargill got it. Now number 2, Malcolm. Touched by Kobe, giving him trouble. And some of that concentrated U.S. pressure they were intending to put on the backs of Jamaica. And it pays off there as Hartz gets a foot in, so does Reyna. Malcolm continues on his way, though. Now Paul Hall watching as Reyna puts it all the way back to Casey Keller.
Well, that was good pressure by the U.S. This man Whitmore had to come back to help out. He is such a good player in midfield. Number 11, Whitmore. There he is.
He's
surging
on the ball.
Midfield.
For Dion Burton, number 18 from Derby County. Gardner looks to lift it in. It's deflected out. Corner kick now for Jamaica. Eddie Pope, who had the winning goal in MLS Cup 96, plays his games for DC United here at RFK Stadium. Malcolm will take the corner kick. Dooley playing on the back line. Casey Keller, one of the big stars this year in the English Premiership. Keller over the top by Goodison. Ian Goodison, they call him Pepe.
Nice swerving ball in here. Goodison gets over the top of all the United States defenders, including Balboa and Agus. But good positioning, too, by Casey Keller. He was in control of this. He couldn't come for this and decided to hold his position and easily saw it over the top. Once again, the U.S. has got to press in here. You see Kobe Jones coming forward. Hope for a loose pass.
Cargill under pressure for Morena. You see Simpson dispossessed. Now Hartz for Ramos. Looking for Ernie Stewart. Cargill can't get that ball. Ramos into the box. Put out by Dixon. Back on it, Eddie Pope. There's Winalda. Eric Winalda in front of Caroms. Was that a handball?
Yes. Penalty.
A penalty kick. Handball in the area. Well.
This is pretty rough justice in many ways. The ball is played in here by Winalda. You'll see the hand go up, and he handles it, but he's outside the area. Terrible decision given there to the United States by the referee. A handball clearly on the replay shown to be outside the box. The referee, of course, does not have the advantage of replays the way we do. But the United States could steal a goal lead here that you might say they don't fully deserve. I don't care about that.
Winalda. And tonight, in Kingston, Jamaica, I think I know what the top replay of the evening will be. It won't be that penalty kick. It will be the handball that appeared to be outside the penalty area. That was awarded the penalty kick.
You see Goodison come over. There's the hand. He's still outside. He finally steps into the area. But Winalda very coolly and calmly slams it home. First, Winalda scored a penalty also against, I think it was Trinidad and Tobago. Keeper undecided which way to go, and Winalda takes advantage of a huge break for the U.S.
His 5th World Cup qualifying goal. The PK, I think, came against Canada.
Oh, that's right, it was, excuse me.
And we play on. So, as you said, rough justice.
Very rough justice.
Life is not fair, and a demonstration right there, but it is USA 1, Jamaica nothing, as Agus is on the ball, pursued by Paul. Oh, look at Dion Burton, and Burton buries it! And we are equal.
What was Jeff Agus thinking? Tries to touch his ball with the outside of his foot. A little flick in. I think he was trying to give it to Balboa, but it was anticipated by a Jamaican player. Touched in, and an easy score for Burton, and he continues to be a one-man wrecking crew.
He has scored the last 3 goals for Jamaica. Paul Hall on the ball. Jamaica has equalized, and so it's deflected out for the throw-in. Mistake by Agus, costing the U.S.
Well, that's a killer for Steve Sampson, because you could argue that the game really should still be tied, because Jamaica did not deserve to have that penalty called against them.
Well,
but that's the way it goes.
The game is tied, Seamus.
Yeah. That's the way the game goes. You know, sometimes terrible injustices are done, but this is why this country believes that they have a kind of divine cause. It always works out for them.
Ronaldo, cut off by Cargill. Here's Whitmore in the midfield against Jeff Agus. Thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of Jamaican fans have made their way here. Jamaican Americans and Jamaicans coming up from the island nation. The sound from the relative fan base is roughly equal tonight. Simpson knocked off the ball. Touched by Stewart. Here comes Reyna looking for Ronaldo. And Fitzroy Simpson collects that ball and keeps it away from Ernie Stewart.
Simpson has been fantastic coming back and playing in front of the back 3 and trying to calm things down. He's been a wonderful leader for them, number 6, Simpson.
Rene Samoy is the head coach of Jamaica, the evangelical Christian. He talks about the divine plan for his nation. Keller is out. Dooley cuts the ball off. Now Kobe Jones moves in on Dixon. He's got Ronaldo in the corner. Stewart coming down the middle. Dispossessed is Ronaldo. Gets a foot back in. Throw-in for Jamaica.
Oh, what an incredible start to this second half. After lots of excitement in the first half, generated mostly by Jamaica.
Oh, nice piece of skill by Agus and a good touch there by Ramos. Reyna gets it now to Stewart. Goose obviously feeling he has something to prove here. A dangerous pirouette there by Ramos. John Harkes, what's he going to do? Eric Winalda, he's got Pope making a run across the way. He spots him. Claudio Reyna on that ball. Tackle down. We play on, it's cleared out. U.S. throw-in.
Reyna upset there, felt he was fouled, not tackled. But he's got to stay calm. He's carrying a yellow card. Look at Jeff Agus here. Is this ball touched? Seems to be that Paul Hall got a touch on it. And went right to his co-striker, Dion Burton. And from 7 yards out, he's not going to make a mistake.
And our Bud scoring summary, Winalda and Burton a minute apart. Winalda on the PK, on the penalty kick. Off the handball that appeared to be outside the area. Agus for Balboa as the ponytails combine there. Now the dreadlocked Kobe Jones. Harkes comes through that ball, perseveres to win it. And Jamaica playing at a fever pitch. The back heel by Reyna, taken by Simpson. He's got Hall and Burton with him, and Whitmore making a run. A lead on the right side. Goose comes back to win it. 55th minute of a match that has been entertaining the whole time, and the United States may be getting ready to bring on Trekkie, who is warming up in front of the U.S. bench. Fitzroy Simpson against Ramos and Pope. Heretta Burton. And a foul against the U.S. Throw-in, actually, on the touchline.
Well, now it's a question of nerve, and who's got the nerve and the composure after 2 very sort of controversial or certainly spectacular goals in one way or another, and who can get their composure back and start stringing some passes together and take advantage of maybe some of the emotional mistakes that the other team may make.
Claudio Reyna as Eddie Pope moves up.
Good play by Reyna, keeping possession.
There's Stewart. Reyna. Now Goose. Jeff Agus from DC United. He's got Winalda to his left. Going far post, looking for Stewart. Claudio back on it. Ramos. Gardner puts it out. Throw in U.S. Ernie Stewart now against Goodison. Ramos. Gardner skied. Ramos against Goodison. Still on the ball, and now won by Goodison as Pope forces for the goal kick.
The USA making the substitution, the one that made the difference at Portland against Costa Rica last month. Preki came in and created the goal for the United States. He's coming on for Kobe Jones, and he'll take up that wide right position where he likes to cut in and double cut the ball to create attacks for the United States.
So Preki comes on in the 57th minute.
That's also a bit of a gamble by Steve Sampson, because what he loses in Kobe Jones is a two-way player to track back and help out in defense. Preki is a one-way player, a very good one at that. But and his surprising talents may be what they can capitalize on here. Jamaica may not be familiar with him.
Well, it was Preki who began the scoring sequence against Costa Rica a month ago. You see Winalda applying that pressure. Balboa in the air. Cargill puts it wide. Now Ricardo Gardner, age 19, gets a touch. Now Jamaica has leveled the match. Burton in the 50th minute. They would level point. They'd be ecstatic with 3. Dion Burton. Whitmore on the ball. Through ball for Paul Hall. Jamaica appeals for the penalty. They don't get it. Quickly on the distribution. This is Ernie Stewart on a counterattack. Jamaica has numbers back, though. Oh, and a nice play there by the Jamaica defense. And now back on it, Peter Cargill.
Well, Ernie running into traffic there on a 1-against-3 situation, and unusual for him losing the ball.
Roy Simpson.
Yeah, he's always there to offer himself as a release player, as a target to help those back players. Those back players look shaky. That's got to be a foul.
And Preki does foul.
Those back players look shaky bringing the ball out. But this was I think there was a handball in here. Let's see if the ball comes up. Yep, it touched his hand. That wasn't given, so they got a break there. Now, is this a foul by Agus or not? As he touches the ball away, he also gets some feet. And that could have gone against the U.S. very easily.
Boy, the tension level ratcheting up here in Washington. Harks tried the ball for Winalda. He's challenging in there against the keeper who's out. Now Barrett retreats. Stewart far post. Headed out by Goodison. Chased down by Gardner for Jamaica. And now Whitmore gets the touch. They may not be pretty on defense, but they're getting the job done. The yellow Reggae Boys. Balboa puts it wide of Dion Burton.
And who's coming up but Simpson?
Fitzroy Simpson from Portsmouth eludes the tackle and taken down outside the area, and a free kick. About 25 yards out.
Well, he's got to be the man of the match for me. From end to end, here's the touch. And there looked to me to be contact there, but Jello certainly didn't think so. But Simpson has been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal helping his defense and surging forward on the offense. So the U.S. got to get some composure here. It's kind of a sloppy wall being formed right now. That's a bit better.
Simpson is near the ball. Number 2 is Stephen Malcolm. Simpson.
Well, there's one thing he doesn't do well. He may be a great all-around player and having a great game, but the less said about that shot, the better.
The United States felt, as they approached the final matches of qualification after the victory over Costa Rica, that a win and a draw, 4 points, would probably be enough to get them into France. You see Keller in conversation there with Mario Sanchez, our Chilean referee. And in that blueprint, it was thought the U.S. would win this match, perhaps not get points in Mexico. 2 wins certainly would do it, Jamaica and the visit to Canada. But it all hinged, the blueprint, on 3 points tonight. That's far from certain now. Balboa.
Well, I tell you, the way Jamaica played in the first half, the U.S. might have been excused for thinking that they got a draw, they'd be happy. But
here goes Frecky. Frecky against Goodison. Frecky cuts it back, left foot, looking in front for Stewart. Jeff Agus now is Ronaldo cuts inside. Jeff Agus still on the ball. Agus again far post, put away from Eddie Pope for the corner kick. The United States and Jamaica World Cup qualifying on ESPN. A raucous evening at RFK Stadium, along with Ty Keogh and Seamus Mellon. I'm Bob Lee. 3 very important points at stake.
And Frecky lurking at the edge of the box here, hoping for somebody to get knocked down to him.
Looking for Balboa over his head. Malcolm clears it out for Jamaica. Now Stewart back on it. Goose, another dangerous square pass, almost picked off by Whitmore, and now Hall almost got it. Thomas Dooley. Ronaldo holds the ball and then shoots it high. Dooley was making a run up the middle.
Yes, Dooley was making the run up the middle, and I think he's a little unhappy that he wasn't played through by Ronaldo. Ronaldo went for the shot. Strikers will go for the shot. That's what they're supposed to do. But in the circumstance, maybe the option was better to Dooley.
Dean Sewell, number 12, coming on, replacing Stephen Malcolm. Sewell attends New Hampshire College.
Good substitution there by Simoes, because Malcolm, number 2, was having some problems at right fullback or right defensive midfielder. Players were getting around him, and as the U.S. in fact had hoped to do all game.
Fargo deflected by Goose, and now Thomas Dooley will come back for it in the 64th minute on a loud evening with so very much at stake. Whoa. You saw Gardner running up, probably saw tape of the USA-Mexico match when Hermosillo did the same thing. Ramos. That ball always glued to his foot. He's got a lot on his mind, Tab Ramos. His wife, Amy, home over past her due date to deliver their second child. Now Ronaldo. This is Precky. Reyna. Jeff Agus. Trying to reverse play. Eric Ronaldo now. Patient U.S. team. Predrag Radosavljevic. Precky cuts it back. He can change direction on a dime, but dispossessed there.
It looked like Goodison might have been waiting for that one. May have seen the tape of the USA match with Costa Rica when the winning goal came from that move. But U.S. with good possession now. And look at Jamaica. All 11 players parked in their own area. They're going to hold on to this one goal, this 1-all tie, and just hope for a counterattack. But they're just going to try to absorb everything the U.S. throws at them.
Well, that ball deflected well and pulled in by Dixon. Exchanging there with Dean Sewell.
Well, the U.S. playing with 4 backs, as we said, but Agus coming way forward now a lot, because Jamaica is primarily using one player up top. They're playing sort of a 3-6-1 or a 4-5-1.
This is Dean Sewell, just on as a sub, stopped on a dime by Reyna. Bad touch by Ronaldo. Jamaica back on it. Whitmore distributes. Dixon. Burton cuts it wide. Pope lifts it out. Now Brecky from his own half. Eddie Pope in support there of Ramos.
Good patient build-up by the U.S., not giving the ball away.
Captain John Hartz plays it wide. Oh, that first touch by Jeff Agus. Able to save it, yes. Ernie Stewart as Goose goes up the wing now. A lot of space here for Ernie. Looking for Winalda, but right on to Fitzroy Simpson. Simpson gets past Winalda. Taken down from behind. No card.
No, but he's lucky not to get one. And he's carrying one already.
Sports Center coming along at 11 Eastern with the divisional playoffs. And Gordie Howe skating again. All tonight, 11 Eastern. And the highlights of this game. Mike Charlton behind Steve Sampson today celebrating his 46th birthday, the assistant coach of the U.S. side. And now Stewart on the ball as they get past Cargill, a three-man U.S. attack. Winalda. Flag is up, offside. Offside.
Well, a very good attack from a breakup in midfield, and Jamaica in all kinds of trouble. But this man Hart did a good job. He ran through to get the ball back, and instead, once again, Winalda went to take the shot. When I mentioned about the card, Winalda does not have a card in this game. He carried a card into the game, but he did not get one in this match.
Hartz has a card, and Reyna has a card. And Reyna's card, which he got in the 37th minute, will mean he will not be eligible to play against Mexico on November 2nd. Foul against the U.S.
Hall, ever so dangerous on the turn. He's got skill and pace. Here you see him, number 22, Hall. Plays for Portsmouth in England in the First Division. And he scored over 20 goals for them in 3 years. So Eddie Pope does not want him to turn.
Bad ball by Whitmore, almost picked off by Ernie Stewart, but now Jamaica, they're taking some chances with their square balls, and Hart's chasing. Or rather, Brecky with Hartz. Trying to put some pressure on. Durant Brown, the sweeper. Sewell out of his end. Dean Sewell gets past Agus, but Balboa has it with that dangerous man, Dion Burton, right there, the number 18 for Jamaica. Nice skill there by Stewart. Claudio Reyna. Ooh, Jeff Agus with Ricardo Gardner running down the middle for Jamaica. Brecky wins that ball. Hartz is on it. Tab Ramos now on the right side. Eddie Pope is there to collect it. But a bad touch, and Jamaica's on it. Here they come. Whitmore, number 11. Dion Burton. Going far post. Pope puts it out. Tussling there with Paul Hall, number 22. Simpson looking for Burton. Balboa challenging. Burton in the box. Nice turn with the double team work as Goose takes it away.
Well, end-to-end action here, and the clock just ticking away. Just 20 minutes to go, 21 minutes to go, and the game very much going the way Jamaica wants it to go.
Only two other Caribbean nations have ever gone to the World Cup Finals. Haiti in '74, Cuba back in '38. Jamaica with a point tonight would be well on its way. With 3 tonight, might well be into France. Major moment in sporting lore for this nation tonight. But the U.S. won all. Burton comes back, though, wins that ball from Reyna. Look at that skill. Ricardo Gardner, the teenager, picked up by Pope. Gardner. Tiller has it. Let's go to Ty Keogh.
You have to to like the United States offensive options with Preki wide and also Tab Ramos now free to move all over in support of Ernie Stewart. And John Hartz has gotten his wish, really, to play central midfield. But a problem right now for the USA is number 11, Theodore Whitmore, who continues to find himself with plenty of space in the center of midfield. So Hartz and Claudio Reyna need to slow that up, or the U.S. could be exploitable on a counterattack, and they almost were a moment ago.
Well, I should also add to that, Ty, that was one of Sorber's jobs. Sorber was supposed to be taking care of Whitmore in combination, I might add, with Claudio Reyna when needed. But that's one of the things they lost with taking Sorber out. Understandable that they had to take him out.
Now, Whitmore keeps getting behind Reyna, keeps getting behind John Hartz. Right. That's where the dangers come from.
Exactly. And that's the one thing they worry about, the Jamaican players getting in behind the center of the midfield defense for the U.S.
Preki on the ball. Dooley has moved up on a run. The captain Hartz. At the edge of the area, Preki, one too many touches. Simpson broken up. And now Burton. Dion Burton, Reyna got a foot in. Preki's back on it. Tab Ramos. Near post, an easy one for Warren Barrett.
Well, Tab is working very hard on that far side. Barrett didn't have much trouble with that. But they're getting some space over there. And if they can get more service to Tab, he can beat his man.
There's that man Whitmore. Well, there's one of those counterattacks. Length of the field for Jamaica.
Reyna coming back, doing a nice job to cover behind Dooley. Dooley went to ground on the slide, but didn't get it. John Hartz playing a very dominant role in midfield, seeing a lot of possession. Reyna likewise. John Hartz was out of it for a lot of the game when he's playing wide left. As Ty said, he's much happier there now. Here comes Eddie Pope.
Pope on the right side, picked up by Gardner, sends it into the box. Simpson clears it. Reyna wins that ball, lifts it down the right side, looking for Ramos, perhaps to play for the corner, but Goodison turns it out. Dooley now. Reyna. Thomas Dooley of the Columbus crew. Claudio Reyna plays with Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. Dean Sewell, nice play. If Goose comes back, that will be a U.S. throw-in.
A great determination by Dixon there. So a straightforward player, likes to tackle hard.
Player down across the way, nobody sees him. So now Winalda. Stewart into the corner, tackled out, U.S. throw-in. And still, with a player down across the way, play will continue. Winalda shows for the ball. Here's he's going 90 tonight. Goose. That was corner kick. It was deflected out over the byline. So the USA now with a corner, and the injured player will be attended to. But the referee, Mario Sanchez, not wanting to whistle play with the U.S. on the advantage there because the player was on the other side of the pitch and not a factor. And you see Ian Goodison trying to pull himself off the field.
Well, he's been a solid player in the air, Goodison has. He's had some troubles getting the ball out of the back, but he's been rescued time and time again by number 6, Simpson, and number 11, Whitmore. And that's been one of the great positive features of play for Jamaica. Positive for the U.S. as these two guys here in the picture, Hartz and Pope. Pope cramping up a little bit. He's cramped up a number of times when we saw him have that problem. And Burns warming up.
So Eddie Pope may be coming out, and Michael Burns yet to... I don't know that he's got the substitution pass in his hand, so he'll report to the fourth official. When play resumes, you see Hartz trying to help his DC United teammate. It will be a U.S. corner kick. Tykeal?
As Mike Burns prepares to come in for Eddie Pope, you have to wonder why Sampson would not necessarily go with Lawless instead, because he can score with his head.
Well, Pope tried to lift it there. Jeff Agus for Reyna. Goose trying and winning the corner kick. Good hustle by Jeff Agus.
Well, the only role that Lawless can play is a central defender, which of course means he would have to slip in where Balboa is or Dooley is. And Burnsy can replace Pope wide right, but Pope is a big loss if he's coming out.
Greatest corner kick. Balboa gets a hit on it. Pope challenging, but the foul called. Now Balboa had that header rocket just wide in the final minute of the first half. He was injured, went down in that first half. 76th minute. 1-1. Eric Winalda, a penalty kick off a handball whistle against Jamaica that appeared to be actually outside the box. And then Dion Burton, as Pope goes down again, cramped up. So they may have to make that substitution. Jamaica on the attack. Keller has it as Paul Hall tried the far post. But Eddie Pope is down in the center circle. You saw him there for a quick second. Foul against Jamaica.
Well, it's a pretty hefty tackle for a young guy, 19-year-old Gardner.
Michael Burns of the New England Revolution, the captain of that team, has reported on, has handed his pass in, and when he is waved on by our referee Mario Sanchez, will come on, but that may not be just yet. Burns, the hero of the scoreless draw with Jamaica back in March. He headed a ball off the back line, something that Michael has done a number of times in his U.S. international career.
That's right. Well, I mentioned Eddie Pope being a big loss because he gives you so many dimensions. He's a great man marker. He's so speedy. He was able to stay with Paul Hall, number 22, who's so quick. And also he goes forward a lot. And now with Jamaica essentially playing with one player up front, that gives the wide players for the U.S. a chance to go forward, and that's what Burns may be going to have to do.
Well, Pope, they called the stretcher on, but he will be helped off by the U.S. training staff. And as he comes off, I imagine Burns will make his entrance. Michael Burns, the captain of the Revolution, has played all 32 games this year in Major League Soccer action. Eddie playing in front of a home crowd tonight. So Burns, he's on. And Ramos will take the free kick about 35 yards out. Into a forest of yellow jerseys. But now Stewart on the same side as Winalda. A lot of traffic there, and you saw Sewell win that ball. Sewell again, tussling there with Jeff Vegas. Quickly down to Ty Keogh.
I just spoke with Steve Sampson and asked him why he did not bring on Alexi Lawless instead of Mike Burns, because Lawless is very lethal with the head balls, and he said it's basically because it was the right back position, and that's not Lawless's position. Burns much more suited to playing wide in the back.
Ramos with the ball for Preki, tussling there with Gunnarsson. The ball comes to Ramos, looking for Hartz in the box, put out there by Dixon.
Good run by John Hartz. Excellent run. Top, just not able to get the ball to him.
Ramos pushes the ball ahead, took a little perhaps nudge in the box.
Yeah. You're not going to get a call there, I think.
No, sir.
No way. And it might have been a little obstruction, but this kind of game, referee's not going to call that. He is going to call that, however.
Burton and Goose, the immediate restart, which is how the USA stole their victory at Trinidad and Tobago on a very quick restart. Burns gets his first touch. Preki, who's come on as a sub in the 57th minute. The captain, John Hartz. Michael Burns.
Got to wonder, Bob, if the U.S. a little bit underestimated the speed and pace of this Jamaican team.
Dooley pushes. Stewart gets a touch. Jeff Vegas comes back for it. Well, Jamaica has played superbly on the road in qualifying tonight. Winalda now. Low cross. Touchdown. Jeff Vegas runs on with his left foot, looking in front. Header by Dooley. Nice idea, but Barron had it.
Dooley is going to spend a lot of time up there because Balboa, you see, heading the ball back there. is covering the center position. As I said, only one player committed forward. So that frees up Dooley to go into midfield and into the penalty area. They desperately need a goal here, the U.S. does.
We play on in midfield as Whitmore came through the ball, but the U.S. in possession. Winalda with Dean Sewell looking for that ball, but it'll be a throw-in for Eric Winalda, who has befriended that young man this week, Jonathan Montoya, a 16-year-old fan of the U.S. national team fighting leukemia. And the two have become very close this week. In fact, in the first half, Eric wore a wristband that Jonathan made for him. And so, for Eric Winalda, not just soccer this week. He has the goal for the U.S. on the penalty kick in the 49th minute. Fitzroy Simpson in his own end. Peter Cargill. Theodore Whitmore. Harks now. Michael Burns looking for Harks. Brecky makes a run. Touched by Brown, the sweeper. And a foul against the U.S. Boy, the tension is just building with every tick of the clock.
Well,
1 point is not acceptable for the United States tonight.
Not really. This was a game that where 3 points were expected, but given the way that Jamaica has played, it might be gratefully grabbed, somewhat disappointingly so. But the U.S. has got some tough matches coming up. They're all tough. They got to go to Mexico, and then they have to go to Canada, and then finally November 16th in Boston, in Foxborough, against El Salvador.
It's another sellout and a home qualifier. Back to the live action now as we see Ernie Stewart. Sellout in Foxborough, sellout in Portland, a sellout in the nation's capital. U.S. throw-in. Reyna looking for Winalda. Oh, a tough challenge there. And another foul against Winalda, who has been very unhappy with the way some of those 50-50 calls have gone tonight. Goodison, number 5. Jamaica, 1 point, as we said, would be fine, but they don't have it just yet. Claudio Reyna, far post, didn't get much on it with his left foot. The second time tonight, one of his left-footed shots whistled wide.
Well, this is just the kind of play that they anticipated coming into the U.S. to win these balls in midfield from sloppy passing by the midfield of Jamaica. But look, he sets his shot up. He's got the goal at his mercy. Lunging Dixon may have distracted him, but this guy, Claudio Reyna, who's playing so well now in the German Bundesliga for Wolfsburg, finally getting to play every week, has got to be really disappointed that that didn't go.
Here goes Whitmore. With Hall making a run. Oh, cut off of the pass and deftly by Michael Burns. Quickly the U.S. counterattack. Burns against Simpson. He's got Brecky to his right. Brecky on the ball. Dispossessed. And here comes Jamaica. Back and forth we go. You see that arm, but we play on as Brecky went down on the challenge. This is Dion Burton. Dion Burton lifting it. Michael Burns, with pressure from Paul Hall, goes up the wing.
Well, so you have to say the Brecky gamble has not worked. He's been dispossessed a number of times. He's gotten one good cross in, maybe. And everybody else is working very, very hard to win the ball back. And that's not something that Brecky does.
Dean Sewell, number 12. Peter Cargill, number 7. That's Ricardo Gardner now. Inside for Sewell. Jamaica looking for the 3 points. Whitmore in front for Sewell, and Keller is out. Casey Keller, before Sewell could get a foot to it. Quickly, good distribution this time to Stewart.
Casey Keller, is one of his great assets is his speed off the line, and he needed it there.
Johnny Harks. Michael Burns, what a match this has been. You're just a fan of soccer. This has been tremendous stuff tonight.
absolutely heart-throbbing stuff for this. All the fans on the far side of the field are on their feet. Nobody is sitting down in this lower tier around the whole stadium.
Ramos couldn't get through that defense. Whitmore gets a touch, and to Jamaica's credit, they're not lying back. You see Simpson.
Well, the U.S. is committed to attack here, and they've got to be a little careful that they don't lose this game.
Harks tries to win that ball. We play on a lot more not being whistled now. Dooley makes his run, played wide to Stewart. He's trailed by Eagles. Dooley making a run into the box when all the across the way. Stewart, goal kick. Baseball, if it goes 4 between the Giants and the Marlins. We've got it tomorrow night at 11 Eastern. A night game from Candlestick in the baseball postseason on ESPN.
Well, this Jamaican team has certainly risen to the occasion. They deserve a lot of credit for the new way they're playing. And their coach has really made them believers, but there's a characteristic sort of old Jamaican mistake.
Jeff Agus now. Ramos in front of him along with Stewart. Will he switch play? Now he's under a little bit of pressure. Hart shows. Reyna gets a touch. Claudio looking at his options. Agus again. Double teamed. Nobody cut for that ball.
A lot of work done in midfield by this man, Claudio Reyna. He's worked very, very hard. So has Hart, so has Tab Ramos. And a certain amount of frustration slipping into the game here.
Dooley tried to get it away from Burton. Keller is out of his box to tackle it with his feet off into touch. He committed early and had to get that ball, and he did.
Well, Dooley had to make a play on it too. Was not quite able to get it out, but this man Keller, as all goalkeepers today, must be kind of a second sweeper.
Christopher Dawes may be coming on as a substitute. Sewell looking for Whitmore, bicycle on. Keller took it. The distribution to Preki. He's got room in front of him. But now Gardner cuts him off along with Cargill. Like Burns now. Burns with a ball. Barrett way out to get that one. Distributes quickly to Dean Sewell.
Good defense up by John Harks coming back. Forcing that hustle pass, or hasty pass rather.
Dooley on the throw, but they'll make the substitution. Peter Cargill will come out. Christopher Dawes will come on for Jamaica in the 89th minute now of a match fraught with import, tension, and drama.
Well, Dawes comes in and was the sweeper in the last game where they won 1-0 against Costa Rica because the sweeper had been hurt or was suspended.
Michael Burns. U.S. in the attack. Under pressure from Dawes. Has to go back. We'll have some time added on for injuries and substitutions. Reyna was looking for a streaking Ronaldo coming down the right side. Christopher Dawes with Jamaica now looking to win that 1 point. Harks tried to lead Stewart.
Well, that tells you everything. That clearance.
Players of the match. Our Snickers man of the match, Tam Ramos of the United States. Dion Burton on the ball. Here's Paul Hall now. Balboa cut him off. Back on it, Preki. This is Ronaldo. Looking for Frecky, tried to play it ahead for himself, but not against those numbers. Sewell having problems, takes on Agus.
That was good defense by Frecky coming out and help out, but that his patented little move failed him, but here's Hartz.
Whoa! He's tripped and taken down, and a free kick immediately restarted for the U.S. in the 90th minute of a tie match. Snickers player of the match for Jamaica, Fitzroy Simpson. U.S. on the attack. Michael Burns lifted but not out. Frecky with a right foot at Karam's wide. Corner kick now in injury time for the United States.
Boy.
You can't buy drama like this.
Boy, if you wanted any player on the team to have that ball dropped to, it would be Frecky. He couldn't get his left foot on it.
In injury time, the corner kick. Ramos. Goodison with a head. Ramos back on it.
Corner kick.
Another corner kick. Wow. Great stuff if you're a fan. Balboa header lifted by Dooley. Settled by Minorca. Handball perhaps in the area. Not called. It was deflected in front. The U.S. had their shot. And Reyna back on it. You see Eric calling for the ball. Ramos looking for Dooley. There's Ronaldo. Offside. The flag was up.
Boy, tough call there. Let's see if there's a handball in here. There you see it. I didn't see it. Oh, yeah.
Well,
like,
it all evens out in the end.
Yeah, it does. That definitely was a handball.
Dion Burton ever so dangerous. Dion Burton still on the ball. Gets a touch there from Reyna. And the U.S. now in injury time. No one knows how much time we have left. If you're new to the sport, it's very subjective. If you're an MLS fan, you know on the score clock. But here, it's the referee's discretion, and we are at full time. And a tough evening for the United States national side. And a major point for Jamaica. And a deep well of disappointment for the boys in white tonight.
Without a question, they had a very hard time getting into their stride, and they had to make the adjustments that we heard about. The adjustments didn't work for them, but in the end, you've got to give credit not just to the resilience of Jamaica, but to the attractive soccer that they tried to play and succeeded in playing a lot of the time,